Hi flower friends, it's Madonna from Eastside Flower Farm, Los Angeles, California, Zone 9. It is Tuesday, November 14th. It's about 48 degrees outside and it's just starting to sprinkle. So I was going to give a quick update on what we've been doing around here. A lot of planting. I have planted hundreds of perennials, hundreds. And I just finished some of them yesterday. And I'm going to show you, I will show you that also. Walking through the garden, look at all the beautiful stuff that's still here. That is Northern California for you. It's still warm enough right now for the plants to keep going. So I am enjoying it, although I am ready for a little bit of a break because I don't know if I've told you guys, but my primary career, I'm a hairdresser. So I work Tuesday through Friday at my salon that's on my property. Look at that little container back there. I painted that years ago. It's one of our concrete culverts. So when I'm not doing hair, I am planting in the garden with our flower farm, and I thoroughly enjoy it. I have water on. That looks like, okay, that right there, that's a bad deal. That means I left water on last night. So we're gonna take a quick trip over here and shut it off. And every night I try to remember if we have water on, because like I said, even though it's November 14th, we've still been warm. So I turned the water on the trees. Well, they got lots of water. So we'll go right over here and shut this baby off. Here's my valve. All right, now we can actually get back to the rest of it. So safe to say that all my plants got a really good watering last night because I turned it on probably about 2 o'clock yesterday. Good thing I came out here. So I was gonna give you guys, okay, so I'm a hairdresser. Like I said, that's been my career of 30 years. And then I am a flower farmer. This is my 4th year growing. So this year I'm gonna click you around. So we have been building this greenhouse, glass house, what we call it. So if you all remember briefly, we had the patio poured right here, and I stained it because we paint or stain everything, or I do. It's a hairdresser in me. So we had bought a shed. So it was just this shed right here with the 4 beams in the front from Pacific Building. So it was a carport, actually. It's not a shed, it was a carport. So my husband had an idea that we would take the carport and convert it into a glass house. So we've been working on this slowly with the speed of cash. So the first thing he did was he framed it in, and we put 4 huge windows in the front. So this is south facing because I just want this for winter growing. So I'm not going to be growing in the summertime because of course it would be too hot. So this is south facing. And here, he just put up a little light right here, and I'll show you how that's gonna work because there is no power out here. So what he did is he framed it, painted that yellow and white because our house is yellow and white. My garden shed is yellow and white, so the container obviously needs painted. That was here way before the house was, before we built our house, which was 6 years ago. So then we put 2 sets of sliders. We have an 8-foot slider and a 6-foot slider on either end, which is the west and the east side. And then I think for right now, we were gonna have a glass custom fit to go in here, but I think we're gonna leave this for right now with just the plastic out because I don't know. I kind of want to vent there, but we have to keep, like screen, but we have to make sure that it stays warm enough in the winter, although we're way warmer than the rest of the country. So we have, look at that. So our planting beds, if you haven't been following me, we had culverts that we cut in half. And then my husband drilled holes and put cattle panel right there and drilled it into the side. And the cattle panel is holding in vinyl roofing, corrugated roofing. So that's our end caps for it. And so I'm gonna go in here and show you. Okay, so we have an opening here and an opening at the back. So we're gonna walk in here and I'm gonna show you guys. Woo! So here's what it looks like. Oh, you can hear the wind the wind. You can hear the rain ticking on the metal roof. I love that. Oh my gosh, that's like the best sound ever. So we are still under construction, so it looks messy in here. So this back wall is gonna stay just like this. I have tables because I have lots of plants I'm gonna bring in here. So what we did with the culverts is then he went to Tractor Supply and got these little roll dollies, I guess like furniture movers. You know, you can put your furniture on it and roll them around, or plants, or they're just little wheel dollies. So he got 6 for each one. Then he took a 2x4 and he put it down, and it just happened to go right in between the lip of this and the circle of this. So that keeps them level. Of course, they are all planted. I have tulips and ranunculus and anemones all in here. I think I have some freesia too. And everything's just sitting on top of it because he's still working on the windows. So it is all planted, and this will get moved out here pretty soon because I need to water my beds. So here's the south view. Isn't that beautiful? So the mulberry trees are not going to affect our winter growing because they drop their leaves. And then we have crepe myrtles right here in the front. So in the summertime, I think that's going to give us lots of protection. And so out there in those culverts, out the black ones, which I'm going to paint hopefully early spring, because the black just attracts more heat and it fries them. So I'm going to spray paint those, but those are more culverts. And I tell you guys, it's a one-time investment because Wally is a one and done. He does not want to do raised beds. And here in our heat, you know, even good wood, first of all, it's expensive, and then like every 5-6 years you're replacing the wood because it deteriorates with the moisture and the heat and stuff. So these culverts, they're not going anywhere. So we did drill holes in the bottom of them, put screen for drainage, a little bit of gravel also for drainage, and then we filled them up. So this is our first year doing this in here, so we're going to see, because this is all trial and error. So my biggest concern is it's going to stay too warm in here, you know, January, February, because we often get, you know, 70-degree days. But that's what the sliders are for, so we can open this one here and we can open this one here. So my beds, because they're on rollers right now, they're just all pushed forward, but they slide around. Not easy, but easier, obviously easier, because if they're on the ground, you couldn't move them at all. So you just put your knee down on the culvert and you just push them. So here's our little heater that we have right now, a little propane tank heater. And we just sat in here one night and just checking it out. We had the little heater, see how it would work. And then this right here, we're gonna do dry racks right here, because this is where I'm gonna hang all my dried flowers. So that's why this back wall stayed solid. That's my dry flowers. And so, let me see, Mr. Wally has been working on, we have a battery. So what he did, we have a solar panel outside, an inverter right here. So this battery, the solar power is gonna, I don't know if the solar power charges the battery, and then for the light I just showed you outside, here's the switches. So he wanted a light out here, so we'll do it all solar. He is quite creative. This battery will not stay in here. It will go on the outside of this wall, on the outside of the building. But that's just kind of a cool little thing he's working on. He's always doing something really good and creative. So here is so far what we have for the glass house. It's going to be super cool, and I can't wait to start having stuff grow in here. So now, just in time, we just quit sprinkling a little bit. So now we're going to go for a walk. I'm going to show you all the stuff that I planted yesterday. So I have 2 perennial beds. I have one out front that I may have time to show you today, and one out here that I just finished yesterday. So we're gonna go for a while. That's what's left in my cut flower garden. I have those mums right there, but we've got to freeze and they're all bent. I just let them go. I'm tired. I don't want to cut anymore for this year. It's, you know, almost Christmas time. I have amaryllis bulbs coming in that I'm going to be potting up, and that's what I'm excited for right now. So those will be coming down here shortly. So here is my cut flower bed. So it's 90 feet by 30 feet across, and this is where I put all my cut flowers. So I guess I'll start right here. So I have already got all my hardy annuals in, which are everything that's cold hardy in our zone, which is 9, zone 9B actually, so we rarely get under 25 degrees in the wintertime. And yay. So I last year we had freezing. We got 6 or 7 days at 26, 27 degrees. I planted all year. I planted December, January, February. We'll start in October just to see if I could grow anything. And it's fine. I could grow just about anything. So these are, I have straw flower, larkspur that I direct seeded larkspur. Like you can see the tiny, see that cute little frilly? That's a larkspur right there. So we have that self-seeded. I have Scabiosa. I don't have this tagged, so I'm guessing. I have Orlea down there. This is my bed of snapdragons. And then I have a whole direct seeded bed of Orlea, bachelor buttons, corncockle, and Bupleurum at the end. Here is, oh boy, that's a tester. Here is something else. Oh, you know what? This is Echinops. So I've not grown the Echinops before. It's a little, like little tiny little blue ball. And I planted a whole bed full of them, so I hope I like them. And then right here, I'm going to plant another row of snapdragons that are getting ready to come in about 2 weeks to be ready to pop in the ground. And some more Rudbeckia, because I love Rudbeckia. So there is the mums. That white, the white on the end was spectacular. The yellow got full of aphids. So I just left them. You know, I was done cutting them. So what I did is, this was my favorite color this year. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these back, and I'm going to dig up probably a dozen of each one. I'm going to pot them and keep them over the winter in the glass house. And then I will propagate them next year and grow some more. So here is, these are perennials also. This whole part's perennials. So these, this bed is peonies that I just cut back. Here's columbine, and look, we actually have still some columbine growing. Aren't those so pretty? I love columbine. Isn't that pretty? And so then we have some coneflower, and I let these parts in the back, I leave the seed head on them for the birds. I don't cut them back until early spring because, you know, back here it doesn't matter. In my personal home garden, I always cut them back, but out here I do not. Look how pretty. Okay, so here's what I did yesterday. I had this all tarped, so I just untarped it. I put down weed fabric. So I'm going to have to figure out how I want to cover this dirt. I'm going to mulch it really well because we will get overtaken with weeds, which I can't stand, but everybody fights them. So right here is, I think they call it rat tail, Russian status. I can't say the real is Saguaro or whatever. So it's rat tail or Russian status. Right here I have Trachelium, and then I have Veronica Skylar, which is blue and pink, and then I have Solidago, lighter yellow and a darker yellow. And right here I left it because I'm going to plant something, I'm not sure. And then back here you really can't see because I need to weed it, is I have a row of, let me get hydrangea, limelight. So I might just leave this space of dirt right here. I may just leave empty because the hydrangeas will get bigger and it'll need room to span out. So that is my perennial bed. And I did not hook up my water lines yet because I just did this yesterday, and I didn't hook up my water lines because I knew it was going to rain today. That one I did the other day, so it does have water lines on it. So we're just going to kind of walk through here. And so I will take you over to the other perennial bed. So like I said, I have the cut flowers. I'm gonna swap you around. So I have the cut flower bed, which is right behind us, you know, where I just showed you. And then I have 2 perennial beds. And I love perennials because, you know, you can always count on them. They're not just like a 6-week or an 8-week. They're gonna be there for a while. So I really like perennials. I don't know if I overdid it. I may have overdone it, but I'll figure that out next year, because I do also have a lot of my personal home garden. So here is, I'm gonna shoot you this way. Look at that. I have roses and roses and roses. This is kind of, and roses. Okay, I'm gonna flop you back around. Here we go. So here, sorry guys, is my personal home garden. So I have 350 rose bushes now. These ones get a little bit leggy because they're underneath the oak tree, but they don't get shade until the absolute direct afternoon. But I think they are a little stretchy, so I may have to figure that out. Here's my little rose garden in here. So here was a bed of peonies that also just got cut. So these are all ready for the winter. And those are either freesia or ixia that are coming up there, and I'm not sure which one they are, but I can't wait to see which ones. So here is just a little walk through my path. This dahlia needs to be cut back. It's done. Just like that one, it's frozen. I have just kind of random dahlias through the yard because why not? Roses, roses. And so we'll go through here. Here's my buddleia or butterfly bush. She's pretty. And we still have roses for this time of year. Is not uncommon for us here. So here's my rose garden. And of course, all these are waiting to be cut. So I do not deadhead anymore. After October, I don't deadhead. I let the blooms just kind of do their thing, because in 1st of January, I'll come back and prune them all. So they kind of get tattered looking, like that one. But it's okay, because I really want them to not bloom anymore. So when you deadhead, your roses want to keep blooming. But you know, we don't get that much of a dormant stage. So I really like to, you know, put them to bed, and then they will start getting rose hips on them. Some roses do better than others. You know, the little orange rose hip. I'm not seeing any right offhand, so I can't show you. But look at everything that's still blooming in the middle of November. Okay, so this is my personal garden. It's a big personal garden. So we bought this property 7 years ago, and it was completely flat land. And then I just got right to work putting in flowers, and paths, and it's just beautiful, and I love it. And look at that lantana. This is 2 lantana bushes in this orange pot that you can't see as of right now. Let's see if we can walk around. 2. This is only 2 bushes, and it's huge. So here is the orange pot that I painted. So I paint everything, and my husband, the big joke is, if you stand still long enough, you're going to get painted. And that's because I don't want a bunch of gray pots or black pots sticking around, because they get sticking out in the garden, because they get so hot looking. I don't know if they get hot looking, but they make me hot. Look at that. We have to go find our cat and get her on that. We have a little gopher kind of rummaging around the yard. I see some dirt moved up too. All these are dahlias too. This is Gaillardia, Arizona Sunset. It's beautiful. So I'll go through and I'll deadhead all these. The dahlias I will cut back to the ground. This is just beautiful. Look at still the roses. This is verbena. And then I have alyssum that randomly seeds every time this year, so I just leave it there because it's beautiful. And this is Transylvania sage, First year I've grown it, and it's just really lovely. I love how it's like that blue purple and the spires that come up. So I'll cut that back after it's done blooming. Like I said, all these roses, they're looking tattered because it's time for them within the next 6 weeks to get pruned down. Ooh, these look like they got burned. Huh. Let's see if they're actually crispy. No? Well, they'll get pruned back too. Okay, so here, sage. I love sage. Salvia. I love salvia. So here is my second perennial bed. So what I did is last year I had these as my cut flowers also, and I decided to convert it into just some perennial beds. So because we get a lot of wind here and this field does not have a windbreak on the south side, I planted 4 silverberry bushes here, and of course the weeds are already getting in the way, and I mulched them, and they will get 6 by 10 high by 6 by 10 wide. So that, because it's all open space right there, so the wind comes through here and pummels these guys, so that should give a nice little break once they're grown, a wind break. So I have these 2 rows are echinacea or coneflower, and they are just going to be great. Already needing to weed, my goodness. I have Monarda, bee balm. I have milkweed. I have feverfew. I love how feverfew has that fringy look. And then a row of echinacea. That is not echinacea, is rudbeckia, excuse me. A row of rudbeckia. And then I have 3 rows of yarrow, because I absolutely love yarrow. So I have 2 rows of terracotta, and this one is summer berries. So I have not mulched this yet because I just have been doing this over the last 2 weeks. So I will have huge bed of perennials. And again, I'll figure out what to do with my paths so they don't get overtaken with weeds. And I mulch. To keep weed control, you really need about 3 inches of mulch on your bed. So I need to go through here, and I need to put down some more because I can see on the side where the weeds are taking over, and that's just a big job. Here's all my dahlia beds, again with the culverts, and they're all staked. And I've cut all my culverts, I've cut all my dahlias back for the winter because we got 1 slight freeze. So I've cut them back and tagged them all. And I have pulled up a bunch of them that I'm not going to keep this year. So I dug up probably 22 clumps, and I just put it on Facebook for free. Whoever wants to come get them, they can get them. Plop them back in the ground, because we can overwinter our dahlias in the ground here in Zone 9. Quite easily, actually. So that makes it nice to where they're not in the ground, because gophers also love dahlia tubers. And they eat them, and so we did the culvert thing. And like I said, I just don't like how these look right now. So I just bought a little sprayer, and I'm going to spray all these culverts. I use house paint, and it stays on pretty darn good. So again, oh, see our glass house from there? Doesn't that look cool? So that blue container in the background right here, I will also spray paint that yellow, just to make it blend so it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. Look at Mr. Lincoln. And oh my gosh, guys, you got to see this. Okay, the roses they're pretty tapped right now, but look at this. This is just Joey. Look how huge that bloom is. November 14th. Isn't that just gorgeous? This is probably one of my favorite roses right now. Has that peachy apricot, beautiful color, and the blooms are so big right now. My goodness. And then that is all dressed up. This is getting to be a weedy mess, so I need to get on this as soon as I have time. Here is my little iris bed. It has all these irises in it that will be blooming this year really well. Some of these, because last year was their first year, did not bloom that well. So this year they should do really well. Distant drum. Isn't that gorgeous? Absolutely gorgeous. You know what? That's Distant Drum. This is Honey Dijon, which is pretty cool also. It's kind of a muted beigey something color. It's really pretty though. I'm not sure how to describe it, but those are also pretty big. See, that one's kind of more of a beigey caramel. It's very pretty. So anyway, that is a tour through the little garden. I was just going to give you guys an update on the cut flower garden and our glass house. And here pretty soon we're going to be pruning the roses, so I will do a video on that, because it takes me days to prune, because I do this all by myself. I don't have any help or anything, so I split it up into probably 3-4 days. You know, I spend a few hours each day just pruning and stuff. So that will be a video I'll be doing and show you how to cut each variety of rose on its own. So for there, we will check out for the day. You guys have a great one, and we'll be back soon. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.